overpowered being the global energy dynamic. How China has been working to build the most effective electric vehicles all over the world at scale, and the batteries all over the world at scale, and the critical minerals and rare earths for decades now, not just having access so they can exploit them, but also so that they can reprocess them.
For anyone that doesn't know what critical minerals are, and how important they are to our everyday lives, could you give us some color there?
Sure. We're talking about all of these things that you take out of the ground, whether it's lithium, antimony.
Which is in all these devices.
In every device, in your car battery, it's in your missile systems and your advanced weaponry that keeps you safe at home or allows you to go to war against somebody. I mean, you can't have an advanced economy without critical minerals and rare earths. And the Chinese have been investing at scale globally in that capability for decades now, thinking long term. And a lot of the rest of us have not been thinking long term. We're like just in time, globalization, how do we make the most money now for our next quarterly return? And that reality is making China not a better economy today, but it's setting them up for a much stronger long-term trajectory. So as a risk, you're going to ask me to do this, it is not as critical as the US political revolution because this is focusing on 2026 and China is playing out over a longer period of time, but it is absolutely severe because the Chinese understand that long-term, as countries are saying the Americans are less predictable, and we're more vulnerable to their sudden changes in decisions, many more countries are saying, well, we want to hedge and do more with the Chinese. And those decisions really matter.
If this continues, if this direction of travel continues, what happens next in terms of global order, in terms of the Middle East, in terms of all of these things we've talked about?
Trump will fail. And I think that the level of policy incompetence and unwillingness to take on expertise is ensuring that it will fail. He's quite unpopular on so many issues right now. He's going to lose in a big way in the midterms coming up in November, and that will make him look like a lame duck. And Republicans will start to think about their own futures as opposed to holding on to this 80-year-old guy. Having said that, we will not have resolved these underlying challenges for average Americans. So there will still be a demand for a political revolution in the United States. The question will be, will the next person that comes and captures that, are they going to be focused on themselves or focused on the country? Right? Trump actually identified the symptoms and was able to benefit as a political entrepreneur twice from getting elected in free and fair elections, right? Mostly. The reality is a future person, we're in New York right now. Zohran Mamdani, a Democratic socialist, is the mayor of New York City, which is like the capital of global capitalism and finance in the world. What does that tell you? It tells you that there's still a demand for something very different. And we don't know, is it going to come from the left or the right? But we know that that level of uncertainty is growing. And it's not just growing in the United States, it's growing in the global order. Because if the Americans are no longer willing to act as the global leader, but no one else is capable of filling those shoes, you don't have a G7 or a G20 where governments come together and agree on the rules of the road. You have a G0, an absence of global leadership where people, the powerful, make the rules that are useful to them, and the weak have to accept that, have to find a way to live under that. That's where we're heading.
There was a Yale poll in April 2026 that said Kamala Harris is leading the overall Democratic field with 20%, narrowly edging out Gavin Newsom at 19% and Pete Buttigieg at 14%, with AOC at 13%.
Means literally nothing to me. You know, I think it was Jim Carville, the great Democratic political strategist, that was talking about November. He said, you know what the Democrats need to do? They need to all get on a plane and go to Turks and Caicos until after the election. Say nothing, be absent, just do not be, and allow. It's like the Sun Tzu. It's like when your opponent is making mistakes, stay out of their way.
When you say the election, do you mean the midterm
election?
Okay.
Yeah. So for now, there's nothing happening except Trump and the reaction to Trump.